If you look at the aviation industry in the continent, there are growth rates projected of 6% over the next 10 years. And you can see even in South Africa, the market is growing. Now, when the market is growing, it doesn't become a pie of a fixed size, where to win, somebody must lose. This means that SAA has the opportunity, a wonderful opportunity, to lead in the domestic market and also fight in the international domain. What we need to do is to get our strategy right, bring the right capability, get the revenue management team, the people who can build a product, but also lead with customer experience. We need to differentiate ourselves by being the best provider of comfort, best provider of the warmth of the African experience on board on all our flights. That's what we're going to do.
You've also mentioned that costs have been quite a headache for SAA. How are we going to then reduce this, make sure that you reduce these costs?
There are almost three buckets of costs in broad terms. One of the cost buckets is around the efficiency of your aircraft, how you actually make sure that you fly the right routes with the right type of aircraft, but also how the people who are involved in the operations also understand what their contribution is. For example, how we work with the pilots to actually have better fuel management. Those people have got ideas. We need to take their ideas into account to actually manage that part. So you have to look at distribution costs. So if you are spending more on distribution networks in terms of your acquisition of customers, when there's digital platform to do this, we have to make an intervention in that area. The other bucket, of course, is simplifying the organization. If you have an organization that's offline, not digital, not paper-based, there's too many people who must manage the same transaction. So you need to reorganize the organization differently. But the last big pocket of opportunity is on the procurement advantages. We have to make sure that we are very good in sourcing. We source at best price, best quality for SAA. And I think the scale of SAA can give us those cost advantages.
In the past few weeks, we heard that SAA would be retrenching, and there were reports that denied that. Would that be part of the cost-cutting strategies?
So what we have said to the people of SAA is that there will be no miracles in SAA. We are going to have to look at ourselves and in the eye and say what's possible, what's feasible to save the airline. My biggest focus is around productivity vis-a-vis the absolute headcount. It is inevitable that we will consider headcount restructuring as part of the strategy. What I'm preoccupied about today is to say, how do I minimize the impact of the headcount restructuring by driving strategies around revenue management, by making sure that we rate some of the cost pools where we feel we can optimize, but also talking to people of SA, what are some of the options? So at the point in time where this becomes an issue to consider, the people of the SA, the unions, all the employees will be around the table and say, what are the choices are we facing? What can we take as a decision moving forward?
What can you say, when are you expecting to see your turnaround strategy working and the organization at least breaking even?
So in 3 years' time from now, that's a target for break-even, but that is predicated on a number of things. For example, funding of the working capital, the right capital structure, restructuring of the balance sheet, bringing in capacity to execute the strategy and do these things in a shortest possible time. So there's a lot of dependencies that we have looked at them. The good thing is that we've created an oversight forum with the shareholder, between the board and the shareholder, to look specifically at decision making. How quickly can we decide things? What is the optimal capital structure that we can come up with? And I think South Africans, once the shareholder and the board have found a right formula on the funding of SAA, I think they will know what those options are.
And in terms of your operating cash, do you have enough cash to run the organization? Are you going to be going back to government for recapitalization, or are your lenders working with you at the moment?
Today, South Africans would know that the lenders stopped extending credit to SAA as far back as August. That was even before I came to SAA. We are working with the shareholder and some of our creditors to actually suppliers to work through to make sure SAA continues to operate. The lenders themselves, I'm engaging with them consistently. They have a certain type of expectation, a date in the future where SAA will break even, and a very clear strategy of a path to debt reduction. So the solutions to SAA are not just going to be about lenders giving SAA money. It's going to be a mixed model of the shareholder, the lenders coming in with the right optimal structure. And these are the kind of discussions where the board is having with the shareholder. In that regard, the shareholder, once the right formula has been arrived at, will make it known to South Africans and all stakeholders. As I say today, The answer is not debt. Each business has a maximum debt capacity that you can carry before that debt becomes burdensome. And I think that SAA is almost kind of in that zone. So much more innovative solutions, mixed models of providing capital to SAA needs to be found. And I think we've made suggestions to the shareholder, and that's being discussed by the board and the shareholder.
That was Glorious Sefako-Musi speaking to the SAA CEO Vuyani Jarana.